So home and I think that's good. We'll go there. All right, so let's get started. So basically, I woke up the other day. I'm like, what would be more enjoyable than watching someone code for, you know, long time? I want to say hours at a time, but I don't think even you would want to do that. So we're gonna start off here. This is the first part of a live stream. Basically, what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be building an entire application from scratch. We're gonna be using Ruby on Rails for the back end. We'll be using React for the front end components, and then we'll be using um, Electron for wrapping it together into a desktop application. So it's fairly simple stuff. Um, and if you have any questions along the way, feel free to put them in the comments. I'll try to explain kind of what's going on here, what we're trying to do. And yeah, hopefully this will be a little fun. This is probably going to be really cringy because I'm really cringy, and I also sometimes spontaneously start singing. So I apologize to the world for that. But with that out of the way, let's get a code in, and let's just transfer over to the screen. Alrighty. So I tried doing this yesterday, but I couldn't get it to work. But I actually got a new computer yesterday. But basically, we're in our Rails application. I've got already some models lined up here, and we've got some more models left to do on this piece of paper. So let's get crazy, you know? Let's open up a command line here. We don't need this. Lobby here was not working. All right, we're on the back end. Let's go Rails, generate a model. So the premise of what we're doing today, the app that we're trying to build, is basically like a scan to print application. Basically, for like a warehouse or something, they want to scan a code, maybe it's a QR code, maybe it's just a simple barcode, and then they want that whatever that item is logged into the system, and then be able to immediately print another label out. Hence why we're doing this. We'll be doing this, finishing this up in Electron, so we can uh, use some of the OS systems to operate the printers. That's the idea. But today, what we're going to be focusing is on mostly on Rails, generating our models, making sure our validations work, making sure, and then hopefully we'll get into some controller action and routes and basically clean that up. We'll probably be revisiting Rails here in the future. Uh, that's the nature of the beast. But today, all on Rails. So I'm going to be using this command line for generating models really quickly. Uh, and then we'll be able to migrate some of those models into our database. And I'm using just SQLite. I'll probably be migrating to Postgres or something like that. But today we're just going to use SQLite. So we've already got our product group and our product models. Let's create, let's create a composition uh, model, and that is just gonna have really uh, three different attributes. So we'll have the child product ID, which is an integer, and a parent product ID. And then basically what this is just a join table, so that uh, if you needed to, we're basically saying a product is made of these subproducts, and those subproducts could have subproducts of themselves. And so this join table allows us to have those different layers in our product model. So we have a child product, parent product ID, which is an integer, and probably we just want quantity, and we'll just do that. We'll just do that as an integer as well. Oop, So this is the beauty of using uh, of using. Let's see, what is our Ruby version? Well, now see, we've hit our first hiccup. So basically what happened yesterday is because I bought this new computer, I had to re-download everything for my environment, and sometimes we get those hiccups. So I just gotta make sure we're using. In fact, I think what I'm just gonna do is instead of listing out exactly what our Rails is, I am just gonna try. Actually, that's the only one. It's our Ruby that we were concerned about. We're just gonna try to see if we can force what's already on there. So let's just do bundle install again. Oh, but I want it. I gotta have it. Back in the Ruby version. Uh, Let's also delete that then. See if that works. And then let's try this 3.0. Maybe I'll make that work. There we go. Yeah, I just had a different Ruby than what I listed previously on my computer. It's updated now, so hopefully it'll still work out. It doesn't really matter because this is brand new anyway. Um, but yeah, so Rails console should work. I don't know why it's doing that, but all right, here we go. Let's go back up and try our Rails model generator. And look at that, we created this composition one. And in our database folder, we've got this third migration set up. Those are all integers. Sweet. Child product, parent product. Excellent. All right, so let's also create wrong one, an assembly one. Yeah. And let's go. And we'll just erase most of this and we will go to assembly. And where do I want this to be part of? Let's do we'll have a batch ID, which will be an integer, a composition ID, composition ID. I spelled that right. And then we'll do also a parent batch ID. So we'll basically be doing a self-referential thing inside. Um, it's got parents, composition. We won't worry about that. I think that's about it. Assembly, this is logging the actual assembly to which batch of products we're going to be building that went into which composition and made up which parent batch. So basically, the composition was setting up the formula of how we're going to be building things out, and then this assembly is actually logging whenever we create those things. So go ahead and create that. Let's also create the batch. And a batch is basically it's a product, the same product, but built at different times. So a batch could be um, uh, it's basically if something like had a similar lot or group of things, we want to be able to say, hey, that batch was made on July 2nd or something, and in theory, you could say we had these workers built, working on this batch. That way, you can isolate what things are, if there's errors or if there's troubles or something, you can isolate it down to a single batch. which is different than an item, which we'll show here in a bit. An item is a singular product that may have a unique product ID or a unique item ID or something like that. But we'll go ahead and create a batch. We will give it an MFG, which is basically a manufacturing date. I don't know why they put it. I would have said MFD, but for whatever reason they did MFG because manufacturing ends with a G for okay. We'll just do that as a date time, and also I'll have an expiration time, which will be also a date time. Um, oh, I probably forgot some belongs to. Uh, and I forgot to do this for the other ones, but we'll have to do a uh belongs to for. Actually, I don't know if I did. I think I did it right. I think it'll be good. Belongs to a product. So we'll do another integer there, and let's do batch mfg exp. Uh, Probably okay there. Um, and I'll be doing the actual identifiers for that batch later on. I'm not entirely sure how I want to deal with it quite yet. So we did that one. Let's also do item, not item. And let's see. We will give it a status, which will be a string. We will give it a location, which will also be a string. We will give it a batch ID, which will belongs to integer, and represents, which will also be, I'll say integer for right now. And basically, so this is a single product item, and we're going to see if it's status, meaning maybe it's uh, there was a problem with it, a location, which will give a specific location string. It belongs to a batch and represents an integer. So represents basically if we had the same item uh, and there was like 1,000 of them and they're all identical. They don't have any unique identifiers. They're all ready to go or something like that. We can clump them all together into one row in our database instead of having to segment out like thousands of, of the same exact item. And then if we need to in the future and an item is destroyed, we can pull one of these items out and create a new item row and say this item is bad. And we created that. And I think we are good there. I don't know what I want to do. And then we've got a unique identifier, which we will also want to do. And we'll just capitalize this whole thing. I don't know if a better term for this, but unique ID, a unique identifier. Right now, we'll just do this for the items. And UID params. And belongs to item. Yep. Oh, I need to put integer. Oh, integer. Integer. Oh, rules for that generated. Oh, we want a camel case for that. Let's try. I was hoping they would let us do that, but they don't like us do that. So let's see. Do you a UD, and then we'll just do a last one for a model for a UID param, and we'll give the name. What do we want? We'll give it a name string, um, and then maybe we will give it like a regex or a regular expression. I'll just do a regex, and we'll also give that as a string. and we'll just use this whatever this regular expression is to verify our unique ID instead of having to write out different verifications. I may go in further later on and try to add more specific verifications, but I think right now our regex will be pretty universal. And I think that is good. So we can see we got all these models raring to go, and we've got all of these uh, migrations ready to set up. I'm actually going to be adding a couple. Actually, hold on before I go crazy. I'm gonna. I already migrated some of these things out, but I actually want to roll them back. Let's do that again. So now I can edit things in this migration file that we need to do. For example, this product belongs to a product group. Maybe I was gonna have um, some monetary values in here, like sales price and purchase price. Yeah, I think I want to do that. So let's do t dot float for sales price, t dot float purchase price. And these won't represent the actual sell or purchase price for these things, but they will give us sort of a template of what these should default back to. But they won't be the standalone. I mean, in the future, we'd create an actual orders table, but right now, this is fine. This is just fine, darling. All right, and we got our product grouped here with a name, with the materials. I think that's good. So we can go ahead and Rails DB migrate. And voila, all of those things are now in our schema, which means it's now in our database, which makes me happy inside. Go ahead and close that out. And then we will also, in our main terminal here, we'll go ahead back out and we will add this to our repository. Want to say this is basic models generated. Oh, please tell us who you are. Oh, yep. That's one other thing I forgot to do. I gotta set up some configuration stuff. I'll do that really quickly. User dot name. Now we're trying to again. Over. And you can see we've committed some of this things. Also, and now, let's see. Oh, you need to push it. There we go. Clear that out. Go back to our app here. And let's see, there's migrations, parameters. Good. All right, so now we can go into our models and we can actually start adding some verifications to these things, and then any other methods that we may need. So let's start from the bottom up. So we have a product group. A product group has many products, and then will has many batches. I think it will remember that this is an ES and not just HS. We'll see here in a second. And we'll say brew products. Basically, this allows us to create a method called batches on our product group. and on an instance of a product group that allows us to access all the batches that may be associated with this product group, which is nice. All right, so and our product group doesn't have, and does it belong to anything? So we'll go ahead and go to our product here, and we'll say belongs to product group and has many batches, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that's all we need. Hopefully, I think I have batches or products to. Yep, okay, good. So we've got product group and product belongs to a product, has many batches. And then we might want to have has many items through batches. Yeah, should be good there. And then let us go to item and we will say belongs. Actually, let's go to batch first. We're doing this belongs to a product. And then we are going to need, let's see, we've got a batch ID there, parent batch ID there. So, oh no, that's for assembly. So we're gonna, so, okay, so basically we're gonna set up a custom has many, and a batch has many, we'll say, yeah, a batch has many, assembly, or, so we basically want to say this, this batch can have many, subcomponents built into it, which will be specified in our assembly and our composition models. And I'm just going to do a real quick refresher on self-referential stuff. Be basically we want has many. Uh, we will call this subcomponents, and we want the foreign key, foreign foreign ID, sorry, to be the which we'll do assemblies. It's got through the foreign ID of what do we call that parent batch and the class name of assembly. And now so basically we gave it a custom key here of subassemblies that points to our table of assemblies, and we're going to be looking for any rows that have in their parent batch ID that matches our current ID in the class name assembly. And then we can say has many sub components through sub assemblies, and we'll just say foreign key or foreign ID of, I believe, it's batch ID. And what we're doing here is that this whole thing is basically the is a hash that we're passing into the has many uh, method here that we get from our application record active record base here that we're inheriting. So we don't have to define these ourselves. And this does is creates other methods for us that we don't have to. So has many will create a method called batches that will give us access to all the batches for a particular product. Same thing with items or batches and stuff like that. Let's go back to batches here. And I think I am doing that right. So it's got has many uh, sub-assemblies, has many subcomponents, and then we will also do has many uh, parent assemblies with foreign ID of batch ID, the class name assembly. Oh, there's the printer going. And let's see. No, also that one, assembly. Assembly. And we got sub assemblies, subcomponents, pair assemblies, has many uh, parent components. Yeah, through parent assemblies with a foreign key of foreign ID, sorry, of parents batch ID. And I believe I did that correctly. I probably screwed that up. We'll see here in a second. So it belongs to a product, has many sub-assemblies, foreign IDs. So in theory, that's what's going on. So we can go back. Let's actually go to our assembly now. And our assembly, we've got it belongs to uh, batch, right? And then also belongs to, let's just double check that really quick in our documents for Rails docs belongs to, I might be switching what we wrote in batch to has one, but we'll see here in a second. It belongs to author. So actually forgive me for that. The API association, build association, reload association, joins game. So we will do parent, let's do parent batch. Foreign key. Actually, let's double check that foreign key. foreign key of ooh, foreign key of what do we call that? Parent batch ID for the class name of parent. Or no, not parent, the batch. I think that's right. And yeah, all right. And we have that in our comp. This is assembly. Why am I in assembly? No, am I in assembly? I'm supposed to be in assembly, right? I think I'm right. I think I'm right. All right. Right. Okay. I think we're good. And then we also just want to belongs to uh, composition, composition, and yeah. And then we will go to our composition, and we will add as many assembly assembly. Hopefully, this also. I might have to change these to like it automatically tries to pluralize these things. Sometimes it doesn't do it right, so we gotta like custom name it. Let's see if it has many assemblies. Yeah, not that we have. Um, nope. Assemblies belongs to product. We call this actually parent product. And we do foreign key of parent product ID. Parent product ID. And with the class name of being product, we'll do the same thing for a child product. We'll just go ahead. Oh, that didn't do what I wanted to do. Library selection. Yep. Let's switch to multi-cursor. There we go. And we'll just call this child product ID. And there we go. And that should be our composition. Let's do batch, assembly, batch item. We have, and then I think we have, oh, we got our item too. We gotta do. Item belongs to a batch and has many UIDs. And I think that's all we need for that one. A batch, which belongs to a product. We'll just also make sure it has many items. Excuse me, sorry. Class name of batch, parent batch, assembly composition. We'll go to a UID. Actually, go back to item here. Has many UIDs. Belongs to a batch. Excellent. And we'll go UID here. And we'll, oh, you know what? I forgot. Probably forgot this in our schema. Let's see, UID. Yeah, I didn't even add an actual value here, so we'll have to create that. So let's actually do that really quick. And let's just roll back a couple of things. And you can see our schema changing. So we can go back to our UID here, and let's just do it. e dot string for our actual item value. And that's the actual UID, the actual value of that. And then we can go back up and migrate that over. There we go. And so we can go back to our item, has many UIDs, and then our UID belongs to an item. Spell that right. And belongs to a UID param. And then our UID param has many UIDs. I think that's about it. A couple other things I want to add. Well, also we want the product, so we will do has or belongs to a product. Uh, actually, actually, what we're doing is not. Uh, we're not saying has many, um, many to many. We are trying to do inherit down. So let's see, belongs to Rails. Do Rails delegate versus. I mean, a simple thing that we can do. I know there's a different way of doing this. We can create our own method here of product, and all we're going to do is basically batch that product. And with Rail or with Ruby, anything in the last line here is automatically returned, so we don't have to do the returns keyword there. It automatically returns it, which is kind of nice. And let's see, UID. Let's do an item. Maybe it has many UIDs, products, product groups. Doesn't belong to anything. Belongs to a batch. Has many UIDs. Has many. Wow, that's not how you spell assemblies. Assemblies. Product batch belongs to product assembly parent batch. So our batches should do our composition. Yep. All right. I believe all our tables are now related. And so we're just going to do some quick uh, checks on that. Rails console. And let's do some stuff. All of this should save to the database pretty simply because we don't have any validations for it. So let's start from the top down. So let's do a product group. We'll call this product group is equal to product group dot create, which will automatically create it into our database. And then let me just let me actually close all these. Whoop, 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 whoop. Close all. Let's open up my schema so I can see what we're dealing with here. Products groups. We'll just give it a name of I'm not doing that. Product. Snake case it. Create. We'll do name of an awesome product group. And we see here it's been added into the database. Now we know we have a product group, and we can actually do product group dot uh, products dot build. We can actually create a product from product group that will automatically link the. Oh, see what I did there? See, there's something I forgot to do. This product group is supposed to be product group underscore ID and not product group, so this is not going to work. So let's go ahead and exit out of that if I can. And let's just do some rollbacks. Batches, assemblies, composition, product groups, products. Now we can go back to our migration file, go to products. No, that's product group, products, and make sure that's an ID and not just a product group. So let's just while we're here, let's double check that everything else is up to snuff. IDs, assembly, batch ID, product ID, batch represents location status. Good, good, good. Item value, item. There's another one, UID params. So it should be UID params, param ID, and then item ID, and then that should be good. All right, now I think that's out of the way. Let's migrate this again, and let's where were we? We were in our console. Let's try that again. Rails C, and we'll just close that up. Go back to our product, and let's just double check that we have our that product group. So we'll do product group is equal to product group first. Oh, no. Just see product group at all. Why is it not saved? Oh, you know what? Because I completely wiped out the tables from the database, so obviously it wouldn't be there. So let's type this from the beginning. All right, an awesome product group. There we go. And let's do product group dot products dot. I think we just do create. We need either that or build. Let's do a name. Right. Where's my schema? Where'd my schema go? Right, I closed it. Product. Where's my product? There it is. Let's give it also so product. Um, the red awesome product. That's part of the awesome product group. Give it a name. We'll also give it a description. It's really red. We ain't lying. Let's also give it assembly. Oh, yeah, probably good. So product group, right? Product. Awesome. We'll create that, and let's just double check that's good. We'll just do product group dot products, and we can see that it returns an array of products, in which case there's only one thing here, which is this product here, which is a red awesome thing, red awesome product. It's really red. Product group sales price and purchase price are both nil, and then they're created on those dates. Sweet. And then let's just double check. We'll say product equals that. That zero. Hopefully that works. I don't know if that worked. Product. Oh, that worked. Basically, now we got that product. We just want to double check that product group works as well. Yay. Okay. So those two associations work. Um, let's also from product. Put you over here. Oh no. Let's see. So we got product has many batches and has many items through batches. So let's go ahead and do product dot items, items batches dot bill dot create. And in our batch, we want to give it a manufacturing date. And let me just double check Ruby date. I wonder if I can just do now. I think I can. That didn't work. All right, so it looks like we're looking for active support, active hash, yada yada yada, block and assert valid keys, unknown key. Looks like we've got some issues understanding what the heck you're talking about. So I wonder if it doesn't like uh, being called batches, and instead it wants to be known as batches without the E. So let's exit out of there and let's go back to our console and let's do product equals product dot first. Just let me check that. Yep. Okay. Product uh, dot batches. Nope, I don't like that either. Let's just double check some batches. Why do you hate me? That's what I did. Maybe it's not liking what's going on in our batch. So let's actually, right now, let's comment out some of those things. And then let's exit out of here. And let's go back to our product and insert the E back in. Exit out, go back in. Product equals product dot first. And then let's do product dot batches. Sweet. So it's a new I knew which thing it is. It's returning nil. So let's go ahead and create a new batch. So product.batches dot create mfg now exp exp so now s5. Should I use constant now? Yeah, that's what I was worried about. Uh, I could just do day. Or maybe we just try date dot new and exp date oh, date dot new plus 5. Hey, that worked. So we can see our EM NFG is today, or not really today. I don't know why. I think it's the initial. I didn't give it an actual date, um, which is fine. But basically, it says 1st of January, long, long time ago, and then it'll expire 5 days after that on January, long, long time ago. But now we create an actual batch And then we can say batch equals product dot product dot batch, which is it's batch. Sweet. And then batch dot product should be good. So those two referential things good. Now we can see that we're having issues with uh, some of our other things here. So let's see what is going on here. So the has many statement is going to be looking for a uh, let's just yeah, from what I understand, has many is going to be looking for in the other table something called batch ID that matches our current batch ID. But we what we want it to say is basically we want to say, hey, has many subassemblies, which is the name of the method that we want to create, and we want the foreign ID to be the parent batch ID found on the class of assembly. Now, right now, it's not liking that, and I'm not entirely sure why, so we are going to figure this out. Oh, I did that wrong. So let's do batch equals batch at first. Right now, it's not liking it. Uh, let's see if I can bring this up at all. No. So valid keys, unknown key, foreign ID. So I wonder if this is actually supposed to be foreign key and not foreign ID like I originally thought. So let's exit out of there, try this again. Look at that. I think we figured it out. It's foreign key, not foreign ID. All right, so batch dot, let's see, batch, let's look at that. It's got product ID. So these are all the things currently in there. Um, and we'll worry about it when we bring in the assemblies. And let's see if we can make sure that these are foreign keys and not foreign IDs. Foreign ID, foreign ID. And let's double check that that's not going to throw up an error. Well, I guess I said that. I didn't need to do that. And let's do batch dot, oh, batch equals batch dot first. And let's look at batch. It looks good. It's not throwing any errors, which is exactly what we want. All right, let's go to assembly. Foreign key, parent batch ID, class name of that. Hopefully this also works. So here's what we're going to do. We're actually going to, let's do batch dot create. No, sorry, batch dot assemblies dot create. And all I want to do, I don't even, yeah. Okay, so it doesn't like that. Method missing, undefined method assemblies. So I'm worried that instead of naming it assemblies, it's wanting us to do assemblies with a YS. So let's give that a try in our batch. So right now we have a set of assemblies. Assemblies. What are we doing? Assemblies. Oh, you know why? One thing that we're not even doing is we don't even have a method called assemblies. We have sub-assemblies and parent assemblies, and we don't even have something called assemblies. So let's try this again. Let's clear this out. We got a batch. Yep. Batch dot sub-assemblies. Assemblies dot create. And in theory, We got composition ID, parent batch ID, and UID. I think I could just create that. Oh, so we got this error here, roll back transaction because it didn't like what's going on here. So let's just check out what happens if we just do dot new and it's got, oh, you know why? It won't save because if we go to assembly here, we've got three things it belongs to, and it won't save unless each of these are filled. Until we have a parent batch and a composition, there's no real point to having this assembly. But we can have this new assembly. Actually, what we're going to do is also uh, let's actually go to our product. Eagles product first, and let's create a new batch. Batches dot create, and we will call this one. I don't even know if it has. And we will give this one MFG of. Let's just double check something really quick. Ruby today. I think we can just do date today, and then exp of date today plus 5, and that created that. Sweet. Now we have a separate uh, batch. This one can be the one that is a subcomponent, I believe. And then if we go, let's clear this out. So right now we have, oh, there you go, batch, batch dot, and then let's create a sub batch is equal to batch dot last. And let's just double check this sub batch. Sweet. So we got this first batch and the second batch. This first batch is going to be the parent of this sub batch um, for whatever reason in this scenario. So let's go to our batch dot assemblies. Oh, oh, sorry. Again. Parent, no, sub assemblies, right? Yeah, sub assemblies. Yep. And right now we have just a couple of them. Um, so we'll just do the first, and we'll just call this one sum equals that. And we want to make sure that each of these are filled. So we want it to give it a batch ID, a composition ID, which we don't have, so we'll have to do that as well. But what we can do right now is for this assem is that its batch is equal to sub batch. I believe is what we called it. No, that's not what we did. What we do? Oh, you know what? Sem dot batch is equal to sub batch. Yay! So now if we look at our our assembly, right now we've got this batch ID filled in. Now we need to create a composition. So what we can actually do is we can take this assem dot composition dot create, and we can uh, they're going to be both the same product. We have a child product and a parent product ID, which means we need to probably need to create another product really quick. So product two is equal to product dot create. Um, I think we'll just give it a name of hello world. And then we can go back up to our SM, if I can spell it correctly, dot composition, composition dot create, um, and we will give the child product ID will be given towards product first ID, and then the parent product ID will be product last ID. I don't know how to do that. All right, we'll just create composition from the composition class. So com is equal to composition dot create. Actually, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna copy this line. Oh, I need that twice. No, I just did last ID. And I think that worked. So let's just double check. Sweet. And let's just do comp dot quantity as being equal to 10. And then comp dot save. Now we can go back to our sem. That composition is equal to comp. And we look at our sem now, and it's got a batch ID, a composition ID, a parent batch ID, and then these values will be created once we save it. So we'll go ahead and save sem.save. Voila. Now we've got an assembly, we've got a composition, we've got a couple of batches. Now we can start adding items to our batch. So let's go to, well, let's double check a couple things actually. So assembly dot first, and let's just double check that it's got all of its methods correct. So this should, if we do a batch, it should return, oh, I mean SM. What did I call this? SM, yep, sorry, SM dot batch returns a batch. If we do a sem dot, I think we call it parent batch. No, parent, a sem, no, what do we call this? Where's my schema? Where my schema go? Parent batch. Parent batch, I think. Okay, that worked. Um, parent batch, and then we just gotta double check that sem dot composition works. It also works, sweet. And then let's just do com equals that com dot assembly. Oh, sweet, that worked as well. It returned all of our assemblies. If we'll just double check something in our assembly. So it's got a batch and a parent batch equals that first, and then let's do, oh, I just, whoops, ASSEM equals that. This is not safe for children, apparently. Hear that out. Dot, so we got assembly dot batch assembly dot parent batch. That works. Um, Double check our composition here. Comp dot child product. Comp dot parent product. Sweet. They're all working beautifully. And so we got composition, we got batch, we've got, I think we create items now. Yeah, let's do an item. So let's do our batch, whatever that one is right now. Let's do batch dot items dot create. And with this item, I don't even know what we got here. Let's do a status of okay. And let's give it a location of, I don't even know, let's do 00 mm dash 12345 or something. And we'll call that its location represents, and then represents. We'll have this as like a default as one, but right now we will just add that in there. Should batch location. Okay. And then we created that. Sweet. And then let's do item equals that. Sweet. And then an item will have many. So let's just double check that item.batch works. Sweet. And now we need to create a unique identifier. So let's do item.uid. I think dot new. We'll just create a new UID because we're gonna have to do also create a unique parameter, and we'll just do UID equals to that. Sweet, that worked. And if I UID.item, that also works. So UID, and then let's create a new param equals param dot new, or UID param, I think. UID param dot create, and in our unique param, what's our schema? Where's my schema? We have a name and a regex, so we will just do, um, let's just do a name for right now. Name of hello world, and we created that. Now we can go back to our UID, and then our UID dot param, our UID param. What do we say? UID params has many UIDs. UID has, so the UID param equals param, and if I look at UID param equals param, or sorry, let's just do that without the param. Should return the param, and then if we do param.uids, did not work as expected. Let's double check this. Did I might, so a UID did not return to us, or UID param ID equal 1. So let me just double check on schema here. UID params and our UIDs. Oh, you know what? I labeled it or labeled this our UID params when it really should be UID param. So let's get out of there again. And let's roll back to the UID params. Oh, that's good. That's all the one thing we really needed to do. And let's go back to our migration, create UID params, and we'll just ignore the S there. And let's migrate. Whoop, I thought we wanted We want to migrate that back into our thing. Oh, uninitialized can't create UID params. Oh, I just got to do rename. Oh, that's what I want to do. So uh, these table names are important for us to maintain the correct name of it. So if I change the name of this class here, I also have to change the name of this table. So we just have to make sure to take away the S. That should be good. And now we go back to DB migrate. And then also something else I have to double check. Okay, so our UID param is good, which is interesting. I would have thought it would create something else. Oh, you know what? I still messed it up. I forgot to, let's roll back that again. DB migrate, DB rollback. I changed the class name when I should have changed the crate table name. Now, if I roll back, oh, that's not what I want to do. I did not mean to do that. All right, I think that's good, but we may have deleted some stuff from our. So let's go back to our. Let's do item equals item dot first, item dot uid dot new, and with the new, let's do also let's do it. Ooh, that's a good question. Where's my item value? Let's do this. Goodbye world. Oh yeah, it would be UIDs. Assign attributes. When assigning attributes, you must pass a hash. Oh yeah, there we go. And then we'll just make sure our UID equals that. Our UID dot UID param dot new. Now we are in a param. I'll give it a name of I'm a parameter. Parameter. Oh duh. So just do UID param dot new with the name of a parameter, and we'll just give this param that statement invalid. Table structure could not find. Well, you shouldn't be. Oh, you know what? Might still. What are we looking for? Active records, connection, SQL line, adapter, table structure could not find. Record statement invalid. Where are you getting that? UID param. Oh, you know what? It is supposed to be assemblies or with an S. Sometimes I'm quite surprised at my own idiocy. Let's try this one last time. Let's roll back that and let's add that S back in. I'm not entirely sure what was wrong in the first place. Go back into our console, clear this out. UID program, new. Oh, it's working. Uh, UID, let's do param equals that param dot name equals a parameter, there we go, and then param, we'll save that, and then let's also, let's see, UID equals UID dot last, we don't have any UIDs because we didn't have a parameter yet. Okay, so let's go back to our, let's do item equals item dot last, item dot UIDs dot new, and then item value equals equals no, value I don't know what's going on. Value is going to be hello world, and it's let's do that for now, and then UID equals that UID dot param UID param equals param. Booyah. Param, and then UID dot save. UID dot param works. Oh, sorry, not UID dot param. UID param. I might just create a custom method for that. But now we do that, and then we can go back to our param.uids should return that. And Bob's your uncle. And I think that's about what we're going to do for today. It's already been like an hour long. But basically now we've got all of our stuff uh, talking to each other, and we got this special sort of uh, custom has many statements that allows us to relate tables in interesting ways. So I hope you all learned something, and I know I did. And now I can save this. And if you want, you can always check this out on my GitHub. It's going to be Nader Nelson slash labeler, I believe. And I'll probably put that in the description or something. And hope you all have a great day. So still checking end stream.